So with the release and pre-order of the Galaxy Z Fold 3, the device has been super controversial to say the least. The main point of contention that I'm seeing is in regards to that 4 megapixel under display camera. Now, at no point in time in this video am I going to state that that 4 megapixel sensor is better than the 10 megapixel sensor on the Z Fold 2 or the 10 megapixel sensor that's on the Z Fold 3's front cover display. But what I do want to do in this video is give you guys a bit of a different perspective and some evidence and personal experience to back up what I'm saying. So definitely stay tuned and watch this one to the very end of the video to make sure that you get the full perspective. But before we get into it, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, this is Ike's Tech Talk, where we cover the latest in tech news, reviews, and discussion. If that's something that you're interested in, do yourself a favor, hit that like and subscribe button down below. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So to kick things off, I want to ask all of you Z Fold 2 and even Z Fold 1 owners, I want to ask you guys a question. So the question is this: how many times have you used the inner display selfie camera to take a selfie? That's literally the question. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a second. Pause the video if you need to. Time's up. Okay, now, if anybody stated that they have used the inner screen selfie camera in order to take selfies, I hate to be Steve Jobs on you, but in my opinion, and I'm gonna back up why, you're using it wrong. Now, the reason why I'm saying you're using it wrong, on the Z Fold 2 specifically, a 10 megapixel camera on the inner screen and a 10 megapixel camera on the selfie screen. Why would you use the screen with two hands to take a selfie instead of closing the device and using it with one hand? If your answer to that question is for the aspect ratio, on pretty much every current smartphone out, you can change the aspect ratio of your selfie camera and your rear camera. So you're essentially turning a one-handed task into a two-handed task, which just logically doesn't make much sense to me. Also, on top of that, if you do decide that you have a free hand and you do want to use the device with two hands and hold it, why wouldn't you turn the device around, use the cover display as your viewfinder, and take your selfies using the rear cameras? I hate to use the whole use a different camera, but in the Z Fold's case, the device was kind of made with you doing that in mind. That's the reason why, in my opinion, the Huawei Mate X2 and the Xiaomi Mi Mix Fold don't offer this functionality. You can't use the cover display to take a picture using the rear cameras. At least I know you can on the Mi Mix Fold. Not too sure about the Huawei foldable. But with the Z Fold line, you can use the cover display to use the rear-facing camera or the rear cameras to take selfies of yourself. Anytime you're taking pictures or video with either your smartphone, your DSLR camera, whether it's Sony, Canon, Fuji, whoever, you want the absolute best quality. At least I would think that that's what you want. And then if you're looking at it from a convenience standpoint, you'd close the fold and use the selfie camera on the cover display. Now, moving on to the Z Fold 3, it's literally the same exact argument, just the in-screen selfie camera on the inner display is made specifically for video calling, which I've used the device unhinged, not on a security lock or anything like that at Best Buy. I actually had one of the representatives allow me to use their personal Z Fold 3. I video called from it, took samples, one of which I posted on Twitter, using the phone, and no, compared to the front-facing selfie camera on the cover display, it didn't do as good. I'm not saying that. But for the under-display camera, its intended purpose, which is video calling, it did fine. It was perfectly fine. Google Duo and Microsoft Teams only go up to 1080p in terms of video calling anyway. The under-display selfie camera goes up to 1080p. Coincidence? I don't think so. In my opinion, it seems like Samsung wanted to give us the best of both worlds, meaning that we still have a camera on that inner screen so we can do video calls and video chats or whatever the case may be. And they also wanted to give us an extremely bezel-less and immersive display that's free of obstructions. One of the things I absolutely love about the Huawei Mate X2 and the Mi Mix Fold is that when you open those foldable devices, There's no notch, there's no punch hole. The entire display is free of obstructions. Point blank, period. Samsung, in my opinion, just took this approach and took it to the next level to give you the best of both worlds. As I stated before, and I'll continue to say, I'm not trying to sway anyone to buy a Z Fold 3. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind or opinion on the device. I'm just trying to provide a little bit of perspective so that way before we go and grab pitchforks and riot over seeing a number go lower, we understand the thought process behind their decision in bringing that particular camera to the Fold. I feel like the decision to do it was purely from wanting to give you the most immersive and obstruction-free display that they possibly could, while also giving you a camera that is more than good enough for normal video calling, which is what the inner display has always been meant for. If you want to take selfies with this particular device, cover display, or if you're gonna use two hands anyway, instead of using the inner display's selfie camera, turn the device around and use the rear facing cameras. It honestly just makes perfect sense to me, but obviously that's just me, guys. I don't want to rant on this too much longer, but I do want to know what you all think down in the comment section. Now that I've given a little bit of perspective and a little bit of background, what do you think? And I'm telling you now, don't go off of the few samples that we've seen so far. In my opinion, we really haven't seen anyone really dive deep on this under display camera except maybe one or two videos. So in my opinion, it hasn't even been explored well enough yet for anyone to really form an opinion. So can't wait to get mine in the lab on the 27th, hopefully a little bit earlier, so I can really put it to the test and see what it's like to use this device on the regular basis. Again, I'm gonna say this, and this goes for any smartphone, not just the Z Fold 3. One particular portion of a device does not define the entire experience. If one experience or one aspect of a device is bad for you, it may be a deal breaker for you, but it doesn't mean that it's something that's going to be a deal breaker for someone else. So with that being said, guys, again, leave me a comment down below. I have plenty of videos planned for the Z Fold 3. If you are interested in that device, trust me, you're gonna wanna hit that subscribe button. I have at least 9 to 10 videos planned, pretty much everything you can think of under the sun about this device. I'm gonna be putting to the test here on the channel. So that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. But as always, this is Ike's Tech Talk. Have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.